Good morning, traders. TG Watkins here. It is July 21st, Friday morning when I'm recording this. And just wanted to, guys, let you know that if you enjoy the way I look at the market or the Moxie Indicator or anything else like that, you can come over to the Moxie Mastery room. That's basically the trading room, $7 for a 30-day trial. Or if you like the Moxie Indicator and want to pick it up for yourself, you can get that on Stock Charts. So yeah, we have lots of things for you if you guys like the way I look at the markets. Okay, so we take the internals, and what we've been seeing is quite a bit of strength, and that makes sense. The market has been going up, the indexes have been going up, and you know what? The great thing this week, we just had the Dow break out after about a 7 or 8 month consolidation period. So basically, every index is firing along. Now the question is, you just got to play the ebbs and flows, know when the market's getting a little overbought, know when it's a little risky to go in on a long position, take some cash in, take some profits, stuff like that. Just got to ride the waves. But yeah, we've been seeing some really good strength. I mean, this is fantastic. And then we can come over here and we can see, stocks over there, 20-day, 50-day, and 200. And you can see the 200 has been trending up, the 50 has been trending up, and the 20 has been up here, but it's been kind of oscillating around. So at this point, it would be good to kind of see this cycle back down a little bit. We did get a pretty significant pullback yesterday, which was Thursday, and we started to see that Friday as well, or sorry, Wednesday. So Wednesday we started to see it, Thursday was a pretty big down day, and then we'll have to see what today is going to do. Just remember we have the FOMC on Wednesday with their interest rate decision. And here you can see the SPX. This is fantastic. We've been having the 20-day just oscillating here at the top. That's good. And then you can see again, the 50 and the 200 have also been trending up. Yeah, just really, really great stuff that we've been seeing out there. And you can see here, 52-week new highs, just really starting to catch some traction, explode. This is good. Now we just, as I said, have to be careful about when things get a little bit too overbought. And so that kind of overbought situation that we were talking about, I really like the third ATRs, the Keltner channels, and you can see back here, what do? We got up and outside of that third ATR, and there was a pullback. This one, we got right to it. Now, this could have also been a double top, and that was some seasonality with 4th of July. But you can see here how it kind of jumped off and pulled away from the moving average and hit that third ATR and hit the double top. So, it makes sense that there was going to be a bit of a pullback. Then we had a nice move up here, which sustained for quite a while. But again, it got outside of that third ATR. And even on this particular day, you see there was a doji and there was a gap between price and the moving average. So, it was pretty obvious that it was getting really, really bullish. The internals were kind of saying everybody's on one side of the boat and to expect a sort of pullback. And so that's what we're getting. You can also see here on the weekly chart, kind of that same thing with the Keltner channel. And you can see here it's been running that third ATR. So it's just getting a little bit up there. We should expect some sort of pullback. And if we come over to the NASDAQ, we know that the NASDAQ has been just absolutely on fire. You can see it's been running outside of its third ATR, even though it's been following the 8 EMA. So that's good. And maybe it's starting to come up into its prior high. So we'll have to see if that's going to be an issue at some point. If we look at names like Apple, it was able to get past its previous high, no problem. So we'll have to see if it can do that. It too is starting to bump up against its weekly third ATR. So there are some things that are showing that the mega caps are pretty elevated and could probably use a bit of a breather. And we'll just have to see what kind of rotation we get from that. So speaking of rotation, check out the Dow. We finally broke out. I mean, this is really fantastic. It has been several months, and you can see like right here, price has been flagging right through there. Pretty nice flag, right? And now we're breaking out, and you can see that here, right there, we're finally breaking out. So, the last index to really want to do something, and it's finally doing it. And you can see right on cue, Moxie price trigger on the weekly chart. So that's looking really good. And let's see what it shows you on the daily and hourly. And very similar to the IWM, you can see right here, had a nice move, but then it pulled back and really just, look at that, nice flag right there into support, and then it started to take off. And a couple things to note there is look at the Moxie price trigger. So there's your Moxie price trigger, there's your Moxie price trigger, and there's a Moxie price trigger. all of them right on time. So very, very good. If you guys like the Moxie indicator and what it looks like here, you guys should pick it up. You can see it. We have it on stock charts as well. Now the IWM, this is an area that I like to trade in because this is where you get all the growth names. And actually, if we look here on the higher time frame, and at one point I was like, man, if this market's going to fall apart, then it's going to happen. It was going to happen right there because that was kind of the final time that price was going to come down. Looked like it was going to push down, and instead it turned around. And that is information. That's market generated information. That if you're kind of looking for one thing and it does the other, well, then you change your thesis and you go with it. And that's what I had to do there. And you look here, it has been basing for a year, and this is what we saw for a lot of names. A lot of those growth names that are moving this, I don't know, today or at least this month, couple months, we're seeing that they have been basing for a year and that now they're finally starting to go. And it really does look like the IWM. Like many names couldn't get over their weekly 50 initially, and then they finally did get over their weekly 50, but that was kind of like, first trial, but then they had to kind of come back and regain and regroup and get some strength. And now you look at this, and this looks very nice. Let me just kind of zoom in there for you. Yeah, this looks great. You can see we have all the moving averages stacked properly. The 50 is at least starting to move up. Yeah, I mean, this just all looks really, really great. And in fact, we have the Moxie indicator about to fire. So pretty darn close, like the Dow. And if you come down here on the hourly chart and the daily chart, there's your Moxie price trigger. And there's your Moxie price trigger, which made this a trampoline move. And then you can see when price got a little overbought, just like the Dow did. You can see right here, Dow also got a little overbought. What did it do? Same thing. It basically just flagged right there. And then you could also see here's your double bottom, and there's your positive divergence. And you can see there's your fresh Moxie price trigger. So really pretty great. This is all pretty straightforward as far as how the market should be moving, which is awesome because what we're starting to see is that the market is behaving now. It's setting up, things are moving, it's easier, you got the wind at your back, and it's don't feel like we're fighting a bear market anymore. So yeah, things are really kind of warming up, and you can see again, kind of just getting a little bit overbought. So you can see 30 ATR, 30 ATR. The market is due for a pullback and a correction, or a rest, something like that. And then you could also see if you look left, look at this line, and we're right there. So not surprising that the IWM, some of these names are going to be taking a little bit of a break because boy, they've been on a tear for a few weeks. As kind of example of that, you could look at, say, GT. How's this for finally names breaking out and moving? And because before you could see, had a breakout, but it ran into resistance. It ran into the daily 200. And you can see here it continued to run into the daily 200. But now look what's different. Number one, this setup with a Moxie price trigger, which was then also trampoline move, price underneath the 50, the Moxie indicator above 0. And you can see, hey, look, we actually had a big pullback. But now notice, this is really what we're starting to see. And we saw this with Palantir and so many other names, that they had their big move, and then they pulled back nicely into support, and then they wanted to continue to move up. This is good. This is constructive. This is a healthy, normal market. And in fact, you can see here's your Moxie price trigger, and there's your Moxie price trigger as well. And leading up into that one, you can see there's your level, and there's your positive divergence, helping you figure out what the market was going to do and what this name was going to do. Let's see, here's another one. You can look at IoT. And here you go. I mean, we're very nicely in an uptrend, and all of this started from a major double bottom back here with positive divergence right there. And you can see there's your Moxie price trigger, there's your test of support, and then even this was a trampoline move. Price below the 50, but the Moxie indicator above 0, trampoline move. And at this point, yeah, look at that huge move, and right now it's mostly just consolidating. So you'll just have to wait and see when this thing finally wants to get going, but very similar to this, just kind of chopped around into the next area. So yeah, we're seeing some really good constructive stuff out there. You can look at DT, another example of a stock doing well. There's your Moxie price trigger, trampoline move right there, and then it held the daily 50, and it just continues to move up. And so what we can see in through here is every time, even though, yes, that was a big move, and yes, it was a big pullback, but look here. See how it's been holding trend? Notice that the daily 50 has been moving up. That is very different than back here where the daily 50 was in a downtrend. So we are clearly in an uptrend on many, many, many of these names. So that's DT and then ON, ON. And same thing here. We've been watching an uptrend, and you can see double bottom right there. And you can see Moxie price trigger. We got another fresh Moxie price trigger. And in fact, look here on this last move, there's your Moxie price trigger, and then a pullback below the 50 with the Moxie indicator above 0 is a trampoline move. Now, ONON has been able to get higher than its previous high, but since the market's kind of pulling back, I wouldn't be surprised if this just kind of rested a little bit until the next move to the upside. So yeah, names like this, I just don't see any problems with. It's just a matter of kind of time and pacing. Some other names that I've been looking at, you can look at Fresh, and still waiting for these things to kind of get going. But again, they are basically at the ground floor. They seem like they are done going down. We've got Moxie price triggers doing pretty well. Here's the start of that one as well. And you can see it's kind of just dealing with its previous high. Maybe even if you come over here, you can see there, it's just got some previous resistance that it kind of needs to work through. But I think if you give it enough time, it should be able to go. And I think if you look at that, because how about Lemonade? Big move. And look what it's doing. Bounced right off of the daily 50. And you can see back here, see how price could not hold the daily 50? Like, yeah, there was a move, and yeah, there was a move. But notice here, pullback into the 50 worked, but this pullback into the 50 did not work. We are just clearly in a different time and a different market here. So yeah, really, really kind of excited about this. And you can see again, here's the Moxie price trigger. In fact, you had price down, Moxie indicator up, and you had a fresh Moxie price trigger there and a fresh Moxie price trigger there. And actually, leading up to this one, you could see here, you had price going down, Moxie indicator moving up. There's your positive divergence, and there's your price trigger. So yeah, really good, clean setups that we've been seeing out there. And let's see, another one, PATH. Another one that I think is working its way up. You can see Moxie price trigger, and just like I showed you before on Lemonade, this pullback right here could end up being a trampoline move. Price below the 50, the Moxie indicator above 0. I have to say could because it's not confirmed yet. It's still pulling back. The Moxie indicator could go below 0 here. We just have to wait for it to actually turn around, catch, and prove that the low is in. But if that is, then that's a trampoline move, and that would be a good dip buy. And same thing, you could see that price is just trying to hold out here in kind of a holding pattern, but you can clearly see that price has been, or at least the moving average has been in a downtrend, and compare that to at least now you are in an uptrend. We also have the 50 over the 200. So, we just need to find which ones are the leaders, which ones are going to go, and so far it looks like things are, doing pretty well, and just gotta do the ebbs and flows. When you get something like GT that's too high, maybe pull a little bit off, expect a pullback, and then kind of find these low areas to start building a base and a position in. All right, guys, well, thanks again. And remember, if you guys are interested, if you like how the Moxie indicator is working for you, come over to simplertrading.com, and you can buy it over at StockCharts if you want it there, or Simpler Trading, and we can pick up the indicator there as well. So thanks again, guys, and we'll see you soon.